Hello, hello. This is probably really weird for some of you. I'm kind of like breaking the fourth wall a little bit. I wasn't sure how to do this video because I'm not sure if I'm allowed to watch the trailer in full and then repost it on YouTube. So I just took a bunch of pictures of the trailer and I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. If you haven't seen the new trailer for Anvil, it's in the description below. I mainly just want to talk about the things that I saw throughout the trailer. All right, let's get into it. All right, for this first scene, we have the camera going over the forest and showing two different bases. Now, I'm pretty sure they've mentioned before that all of those trees there are going to be able to be chopped down. During the video, we saw a lot of pictures of armies kind of walking through these pathways and these trees. We didn't see a lot of pictures of like open fields or anything like that. So this just looks like a lot of choke points, especially if you can't walk through all those trees. But there was a spot in the video where they were walking through some of the trees. So I don't know. I do know that these two clans right here are going to be fighting over oil or whatever resources around them. Boom, and now I'm over here. This next scene, we see a lot of horses and players running together. I will be very surprised if you're able to kind of get in clumps like that with all of your horses. I'd be interested to know if that flag is an actual item that the character is holding as well, and it represents their clan or faction. In this next picture, it looks like we have a small little castle base. It looks like it could be potentially under attack on the left there. One thing I noticed throughout the trailers is I didn't see any sort of AI structures. I'm wondering if they wanted to keep the AI structures out of the cinematic, or maybe there won't be any AI structures or PvE. That little horse guy down there with the wagon, that's going to be me. The next scene looks like a more well-developed base. You have a lot of players walking slow, role-playing, walking in formation. Should we make that just an unwritten rule that you have to role-play in this game? I told you I was going to be the guy with the wagon. I'm also going to be the guy in that field over there. Farmer Rob. I'm curious what that square is at the top of the picture. Is it just poor base design, or is it some arena for fighting? Next, we get to see how a base is started and how it kind of upgrades over time. The thing that I thought was interesting in this picture is that there's two structures already done. So the structure on the right looks like a lumber yard. So you must have to build that first, go out, gather some trees, bring them back, refine the trees into better wood. I think I Saw a Bear is going to love this part.
I am here to handle my wood on stream.
Ooh la la.
And then the second structure on the left there looks like some sort of chicken coop, so probably to keep your food up. Now we see the base is upgraded a little bit more. I would probably say this is probably T1. The two bottom left structures looks like it just holds supplies, and then the new structure on the very right looks like some sort of stonemason. Now that we have the Great Hall done, we can start upgrading our other buildings to possibly be tier 2. They've even added some walls and some farmland down below. Now what I think would be interesting PvE wise is if like wolves or bears attacked you. That would make the Logi's job kind of dangerous sometimes, which would be pretty cool. You can see me and my horse and my wagon over there down on the left, constantly running supplies to the front. And here we have the final base. Now again, I don't know if this is T2 or tier 3. I'm almost assuming tier 3 is kind of the castle looking bases, but I'm also wondering maybe the castle bases are like the bases that are already in place, like in Foxhole. Like I'm talking about the main town bases, not the player built ones, obviously. And this base right here seems more like facility made or bunker base made like we do in Foxhole. Again, I'm not really seeing any AI structures to defend anything. So I'm really curious on how all of that's going to work. Here we have some more of the bros role playing. All right, guys, we're going to meet at the base and then we're going to march real slow out onto the road. We're going to look real cool and get a video of it, maybe a screenshot. And then that's like when they disperse and start running everywhere and we're all sprinting down the road and it doesn't look as organized as this at all. Now this is where walking slower would make a lot more sense. You got a slow caravan full of important resources. Ooh, what if you have to fend off some bandits? I guess those would be like partisans, but what if there's like a PvE element to that? I don't know if they've said anything about that. Again, I would be curious if there was some like aggression of like a bear again, or a wolf, or even like a soldier that's PvE. That's the new AI maybe. That brings me to the point too. I'm really curious about like shields and swords and how that kind of combat system works. Like, is there a lot of RNG percentages involved in that? This is a really cool shot, and this is where they start introducing player names. We got Jacob Cooper down there. Near the top is drop table users. I really hope that green and white is like clan colors. I think that would be really cool. Probably more likely that it's the faction colors though. That might get too confusing on a battlefield if there's like a million different colors. And I'm just so obsessed with the trees. Like they look so dense, like you couldn't walk through them at all. So I'm just so curious on how that works. Here we got to see the bigger base with the player names. One new structure I noticed is on the left there. It looks like a stable. That's probably where you train or build horses. And once again, I'm very confused by that big square thing in the top left over there. All right, if you have time, you have to look at this picture and pick your favorite player name here and then put it in the comments. I think I'm going to go with Player Builder Factory Beam in the farm over there. Oh shoot, I should have played I'd Spy with you. Now that would have made the video too long. We don't want to do that. This was also a really cool shot, like it was like out of Lord of the Rings or something. I really like those tower shields. I think those are really cool. And this is actually one of the first shots I feel like they're in a bigger field. So during the first time I watched this video, I was just confused the entire time on how the trees would work. And then they showed this video of everyone walking out of the trees, and I'm still confused and don't know how it worked. I hope it looks as smooth as they showed. Here we got some partisan work going on, shooting some fire arrows. Again, no AI structures in sight. Maybe that's just for this video though. Fire arrows kind of reminded me of like the Valheim arrows a little bit. One of the last pictures here is we have two armies clashing and going together, but of course we don't get to see the fight, which is unfortunate. I mean, you'd think it'd be like Lord of the Rings where those horses just like drive through all of those infantry down there. The guys on the other side need those like long spear things, right? I don't think those tower shields are going to help them much. I like the dust that kind of picks up with the horses. I think that looks really cool. Again, for this picture, they just must be in a bigger field. And of course, they saved one of the coolest shots for last. I would honestly keep expectations a little low. A lot of these just might be sort of cinematic game shots. I mean, you might say, Rob, obviously, like the way that they all form up and things like that. But I guess what I'm trying to say, it's probably definitely not going to look as smooth as this. There's going to be players shadow dancing all around with their bows and their swords and just doing whatever weird meta thing that they want to do. But if we all decide right now before the game comes out that the unwritten rule is you have to roleplay, I know some of you think that might be cringe and everything, but if you haven't roleplayed in Foxhole at least once, I think you're doing it wrong. You got to do it at least once. The battering ram looks cool. The ladders look cool. I wonder if they're going to have that tar thing that you can kind of like pour out onto the battering ram guys. I mean, overall, I'm hyped. Make sure you go to Steam and put it on your wish list. Make sure you join the Anvil Discord as well. I'll put the link in the description below. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe for more Anvil and Foxhole content. And I can't wait to see you all out on the Anvil battlefield soon. Cheers.